Warning, I swear a lot.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. So, things are going just fine, generally, you know, they're good, I guess. The mystery, the investigation is progressing. I do need to... I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go look around the boardwalk first, because I would like to at least chase up one of those potential shooting sites before fucking around with the church. Because it feels important. I don't like spending too long not doing anything relevant to the case, especially when things seem as time-sensitive as they currently are. You know? I imagine Lizzie's probably fucking fucked off or whatever, like, you know, if she was out there last night, probably not going to be there this morning. But whatever, it's cool. This is the market, which we searched quite thoroughly, but there's a lot more to go, I imagine. Someone over there, presumably dying. Big wine canister, it's open and empty. Moonshine probably, smells like tasty fermentation. I've had moonshine, it was rough.
The smell, it's awful and familiar.
Hold on, that is awful.
It doesn't help. You can still smell it.
What is it?
Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency. That faintly cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that.
Someone's died around here?
Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. Fear.
Presumably I didn't kill anyone, did I?
It is death. It must be.
Heads up, Lieutenant, something's not right here.
The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose. Indeed.
I assume it's that... Is it that guy? It's the only body around here. Careful there, these floorboards look shit. Let's investigate the scene a little bit first. Coin operator view has been out of order for years. Stop messing with the coin viewer and hold on to something. The wind is so strong. Not that strong. Okay, I think there's going to be a visual calculus moment as we analyze the scene. I don't think drama is really going to come into things here. You know, it's probably an incorrect assumption, but it's an assumption I'm making. We'll try that. Fuck it, welcome back, necktie. Let's investigate this body.
A man lies on the boardwalk. His limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle.
Yeah.
Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper.
Chewing gum?
Half of his body has slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the right leg. The fall has left him broken, contorted like a sad puppet.
So he was drunk, wandered through here, his foot went through the boardwalk, and from the looks of things, probably hit his head on that bench. And it looks like, I'm not a fucking forensics guy, but it looks like when he hit his head, it may have cracked his neck, judging by the angle. Especially with his leg through the boardwalk rooting him in place, as it were. His body wouldn't really have as many, there wouldn't be much give from the impact. This is pure assumption, I'm probably wrong, but, you know.
The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there.
There's just a dead guy over here.
Hold on.
The lieutenant squats next to the corpse and examines his face. Two bulging eyes stare back at him, void of any signs of life.
Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is, he's been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
So if I couldn't have come here 2 days ago, couldn't I? I don't think I could have come here 2 days ago, so it's... You know, he dies, you can't get here to do anything about it. Not that you would, because you wouldn't know to do anything. But, yeah. He dies before you can even get to this part of the area. So we do need to investigate.
Another dead body. This is your job. Steel yourself.
It's time to cop.
Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe.
Yeah, just another dead body. The study's clothes.
He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest.
Of course.
The leather jacket suits him well. It must be custom-made.
I love a custom-made leather jacket. Search his pockets.
You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into two. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Why sunflower seeds?
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
I didn't even know there was a library around here. What about the guy himself?
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk. and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole.
I guess I was relatively close.
You have to be quite inebriated to fall that bad. Well over a liter of pure ethanol. 3 bottles of wine, or 1.5 of spirits.
Well, we see a bottle there. We could smell moonshine not far back.
Or maybe it was just dark.
That could also do it. It's dark, it's windy, he could be some level of drunk, and there's fucking holes in the floor.
When damp, these boards are really slippery. Even a sober man could lose their balance here. His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his moustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening in their frozen gaze. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age, approximately 50 to 60 years.
Roughly as old as I am.
He was confused when he died. Confused and alone, most likely. Overcome with the awful surprise of it all.
Must have been, yeah, it would have been a very sudden thing, wouldn't it? What about the surroundings?
There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist.
Is it apricot chewing gum by any chance?
Be very, very careful where you step here.
Immediately step on the floorboards. Let's examine his head.
A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch.
God, it had to be a fucking metal bench, didn't it?
I don't see any other major wounds, do you?
It's hard to say.
Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
But we haven't examined everything yet, Kim. Give it a minute. Examine the bottle.
A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside.
Fitting.
It's mid-market spirits, with a slight touch of menthol. The man meant to enjoy himself, have a good time.
Yeah, and see how that went.
Tear all around us.
Looks at 2 other bottles forgotten near the coin-operated viewer. Chewing gum wrapper.
Grabowski spearmint chewing gum.
Ah.
Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall.
Let's have a gander.
The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too. Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there. Solidified on his lower rear teeth.
Why would he have an entire pack of chewing gum?
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home.
Uh-huh.
The worst thing is,
It wouldn't have worked.
I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
Well,
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
let's have a little look around him in general.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
Before we continue, it occurs to me, because it's been mentioning tear, it occurs to me I have not been collecting tear for a very long time. There's probably a lot of tear around here.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
Let's have a look.
2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter is all you find.
Did he have all of this?
No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too. Better not pick them up. They seem unhygienic.
Yeah.
A tragedy.
The lieutenant looks in the can, eyes watering from the smell.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness.
It's a rather tragic scene. So what about the cigarette package?
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra.
I assume it was this guy, but we don't know for sure. Kebab wrapper?
You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol.
Huh.
It's no older than a day or 2. No mold yet.
Interesting.
It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief.
Some. So we've checked that. Okay. Now let's go back to him.
A man lies on the boardwalk. His limbs, there's some... Be very, very careful where you step here.
Gonna try stepping on the floorboards?
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was the cause of the boardwalk to break. It definitely looks fragile.
Certainly.
You see waves churning below. Something cracks beneath your feet.
Ugh.
He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him.
No one would have had any idea what had happened, and if he was as drunk as he appeared to be, combined with the extreme cold, he wouldn't have stood a fucking chance.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
So who is this guy?
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here.
You look south, the way you came.
But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
At least this man knew how to party. Imagine the same scene without the bottle. Now that would be just sad.
It is just sad.
This is an omen, a sign from above. Don't start drinking again.
What we're witnessing here is the demise of a great party beast. That leather jacket, an empty vodka bottle, kiss your fingers. He looks just like me. I could have ended up just like him, dead on some empty boardwalk with a bottle next to my corpse.
Well, at least you're not married.
The lieutenant pointed the ring on the man's left hand, the flesh around it swollen and grey.
Or, what if you are?
Maybe I am.
But let's try to not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the Martinez boardwalk.
Maybe we should have a look at that library card. Maybe that would just answer the question, wouldn't it?
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53.
Uh-huh.
Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family member.
Well, let's look at it.
Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinton Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned.
Okay.
Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too.
Interesting, interesting. What about the backside?
If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street, 78, Jamrock. Business hours 900 to 1800.
Suppose we could call them.
We should first decide what to do with the body before taking any other actions. Let's take another look at the body and talk things through.
Okay. There was that lady near the bookshop who was like reading all of the time. This seems worryingly relevant.
There's some tear.
Does it not? So what do you think happened here?
Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive.
Might be more accurate to say that if it hadn't been for that bench, he wouldn't have died immediately. I don't see him being, cohesive enough to drag himself out of that fucking hole without making it worse. There is no way in hell it's related to the lynching, but let's ask.
No, I don't see anything that points in that direction. For now, let's treat this case as a simple, albeit sad, accident, unrelated to the murder case.
I agree, it would take some Olympic Games levels of mental gymnastics to try and link this to the current case.
Agreed. If this somehow converges later, why not? But keep it simple for now.
Yeah, there's literally no evidence supporting it. So, he was probably drunk.
Oh yes.
What about alcohol poisoning and liver failure?
Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here. Severe confusion, respiratory depression, unpredictable behavior.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure.
I agree. What about the kebab?
What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe in the box.
Sure.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
It's true, but we have to consider every possibility. This boardwalk sucks.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have enough resources to actually repair the boardwalk. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away, All it does is keep the city council's hands clean.
Yeah.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identifying the body.
What should we do with him?
From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle.
What about a field autopsy?
A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal, and this looks like a simple accident to me.
Fair.
I'd say we should just write down head trauma and leave it at that. Let's keep this detour as short as possible. The sooner we get back to finding Ruby, the better.
Yeah, but isn't that sloppy?
Maybe, but we don't really have much time or resources to spare. The guys at processing will take care of the rest.
Fuck that. We'll finish this.
Alright, we've already examined the library card. Let's call the Jamrock Library from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about this Billy Mejean.
I think I know where this is going.
And while we're there, we should also call the station. Let them know that we are taking the case.
We also need to go back to his Kanema anyway. There's something there. We need to check in about the armor. So, all roads, not all roads, actually very few roads, but more than one roads leads back to the Kanema. Buzz, hum, the electricity flows through the wires with audible power. Lots of tear. We're gonna need money. Always need money. I'm gonna buy that fucking lamp in the pawn shop. Just try and stop me. What's going on here?
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D.
Uh-huh.
A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Why are you so cool, Kim? Goddamn. Oh, wow. Hello, sir.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blonde man stands next to his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles.
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kitaragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Hypertext, you say?
Nice to meet you.
Hypertext?
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
And what was that about the windows?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
God, I bet his kid must be riveted. So you and Kim know each other?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his worm-themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into worms lately.
That's nice.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
He points to the building again, and somehow he managed to make it so boring.
This man is your half-brother. You feel it. But why?
Ex-cop?
Detective, a word? Excuse us a moment, please.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Lieutenant. Take your time. Mikhail and I have plenty to keep us occupied.
I haven't the faintest idea who this gentleman is, but I've got a hunch he might have some affiliation with the Coalition, in case you're still serious about that committee business.
Interesting. You're coming around, Kim, giving me pointers, giving me heads up. It's worth having a look.
In any case, I'll let you take it from here.
Oh, thank you.
With that, you both turn back to the blonde man.
Looking for suspects. Have you seen anyone suspicious about?
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here.
He pats his son's head.
So you haven't seen anyone around?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
There's something friendly and familiar in how he says that. A day off.
God, what are those? I'm not familiar with those at the moment. So what's fascinating about an empty old building?
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building.
He raises his hand to his eyes, springtime sun warming his handsome face. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you.
What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Fascinating.
Hold on. What's R&D?
Oh boy.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
So what's an R&D department?
Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore.
He smiles brightly, laugh lines around his eyes.
You're probably more familiar with RTD, Research and Technological Development.
Sure.
Mea culpa. You are not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead.
Mea culpa. I don't think I've ever heard of Feld Electrical.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains.
He adjusts his suit jacket.
They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era.
Fascinating.
Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. I'm mixing my metaphors here.
What was the ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
He paused for effect. A tape computer?
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer.
Amazing.
Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
What happened?
Indeed. What?
What indeed?
The revolution!
The boy wipes his nose on his sleeve.
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
He pauses, pointing to the other building, then continues.
All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
You're saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk?
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
So they're responsible for that shitty-ass boardwalk to the north that got that guy killed?
A pleasure wheel?
Lieutenant looks wistfully at the horizon as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky.
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel, lighting up the coast.
I'm sure.
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
Clearly. So what happened to them, the people?
Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
Tape computers?
He means that the boys got shot by the communists. The boys were bourgeois.
He means they all got shot in the head because they were bourgeois. Now, do you know what the bourgeoisie is? Nah, I'm not going to traumatize a child. Tape computers, right.
Tape computers.
He nods, wind tussling his suit jacket. So what did the revolutionaries do with the computers?
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
And what was that?
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
I dare say.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album Bombe Baiser dans le Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree.
Huh.
I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
Outrageous.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
Naturally. So how did they work? I'm sure this will take forever.
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
He raised his finger, remembering something.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Womty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Juice joined the team, trying to...
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center?
Oh, he did.
He did it. He said Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world.
What a professional.
What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juiced?
Okay, the Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center. Paul Ockerman, Keith and Guy Juice. What are you talking about?
The Womty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Art. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to...
You're making this up. Kim, is he making this up?
In fact, I'm not. The Womty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center.
He clears his throat.
But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
RCM should get those.
Even one would be very useful. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to the precious device. So they did. The Feld playback experiment vanished into the fires of 07.
The Feld playback experiment?
Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the Feld playback experience, but those are incorrect.
They're starting to sound like a band, so why did they destroy it?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
He takes a step back. The boardwalk creaks mournfully in the wind. I wanted to ask something else.
Of course. What else?
So this is a long shot, but could you help me contact the Coalition?
Well, that certainly depends. You know, the popular image of the Coalition is of a monolithic political military entity. But in reality, it's comprised of many interconnected yet semi-autonomous components.
That does sound about right.
For instance, the offices of Inchecom are responsible for military affairs. These offices are located in the Bank of the World building, just a few kilometers from here.
He points west towards the skyscrapers across the bay.
Well, then there's also the Provisional Commission, as well as the Institute for Revacholian Culture, with its architecturally significant headquarters in Le Jardin.
So what's Inchecom?
Inchecom is responsible for all aspects of the military occupation of Revachol. During the revolution, they coordinated the efforts of the Occidental and Gradian invasion, but these days their function is primarily logistical.
And the Institute for Revacholian Culture?
Oh, the Institute is a marvelous organization. My favorite part of the coalition by far.
Riveting.
Their mandate is twofold: to export notable works of Revacholian culture throughout the moral intern, while also importing the most important cultural products of the wider world to citizens of Revachol.
Okay.
There's an exhibition on Vespertine Proto-Expressionism that I can't wait to take Mikhail to. We're working our way through the major artistic movements of the last century.
So you'll be here a while then. Who handles the money? I like money.
Of course there is. The Coalition's economic affairs are handled by the Bank of the World, Revachol Mission. They operate in concert with the Institute of Price Stabilité in Serre-la-Clé.
Fascinating, but what if I wanted to respond le responsabilité?
Ah, that's simple. You're looking for the Comité de Responsabilité de Revachol. It's a sort of clearinghouse for coalition affairs in Revachol.
Uh-huh.
Yes, this is just the sort of reasonable authority you're looking for.
Yes.
If you will, picture the coalition as a kind of wheel. The hub of this wheel is the Comité de Responsabilité, and out from that hub radiate a great many spokes, which connect to Inchicom, the Institute for Revacholian Culture, the Provisional Commission, and so on.
If you're not part of the coalition, how do you know so much?
I have a long-standing interest in political systems. You see, it's my personal theory that political systems are a lot like personalities. In other words, how a state organizes itself is in some way the public expression of its innermost character.
I see. You know, kind of like empathy, half-light, perception, that kind of thing. So what political system do you think represents my innermost character?
The man smiles at you for a long moment.
Nothing nice to say, huh?
He is doing his best not to show it. But the smile is ever so slightly more forced than before.
Of course, officer, we've only recently met. It would require a more thorough conversation than we have time for to answer a question like that. It's fascinating to think about, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So how do I get in touch?
Well, now, that is rather complicated. You can write to the committee directly, but I understand that there's quite the backlog. A month or more, according to friends of mine who just so happen to know about this sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
Of course, if you could somehow contact Coalition Warship Archer, you could reach the committee directly. But, well, that obviously presents any number of logistical and technical challenges.
What's Coalition Warship Archer? That's a great name for a ship, by the way.
Why, officer, it's that gigantic aerostatic right over there. Have you really never noticed it before?
I've kind of got a bird's eye view of the world.
You follow the man's gaze out toward the west. There, hanging some distance above the horizon, you can just make out a strange silhouette.
Why did you pan out when we still can't see it?
It looks to your eye like some kind of long metallic fish suspended beneath a number of ceiling fans.
Huh. Can't believe I never noticed it before.
I believe that is intentional. You see, the Coalition are very sensitive to how they are perceived by the people of Revachol, which is why they generally prefer for their warships to remain at a discreet distance from major population centers.
Why do I need to contact a military aerostatic to talk to a civilian bureaucrat?
A very astute question. You see, in addition to its role as a military warship, the Archer is also responsible for coordinating all Coalition communications and surveillance operations in Revachol.
Oh, cool, so it's watching us too.
Not just watching, it's listening as well. I don't know the particulars, of course, but I would expect a warship like the Archer to possess the most advanced surveillance equipment available outside of Seoul.
It's gotta be another way.
Well, I suppose you could rent a private aerostatic and attempt to rendezvous with Archer directly, but I must caution against it. Warships like the Archer are usually authorized to fire on unidentified aerostatics on site.
I am an aerostatic, so how does one go about contacting it?
That might be the trickiest question of all. From a technical standpoint, it shouldn't be all that difficult. You simply require a radio transmitter capable of broadcasting on Coalition frequencies.
What?
The problem is that those sorts of radio transmitters are tightly controlled by the Coalition. Even the RCM doesn't typically have access to them outside of special joint operations.
I wonder if that relates to what Ruby was doing with all of those transmitters and stuff.
He's correct. It makes coordinating operations with the Coalition exceedingly difficult, from our perspective.
What am I supposed to do then?
All that said, someone with a powerful radio and a certain level of technical skill might be able to circuit bend their way onto the Coalition frequencies.
Right.
It's only too bad the old Feld engineers are no longer available. This sort of thing would have been right in their wheelhouse.
Okay, but if I punch a printer a few times, could I turn it into that or something?
Good. Now we are circuit bending into radio towers. Just what this side task was missing.
I know, right? Some technical aspects.
In any event, it's a fascinating technical challenge. I'll be very interested to see how you tackle it.
Cool, thanks for the info. I would ask him for money, but A, I don't need money right now, and B, if there's a future check I need to make, that might lower it. Thanks for the information.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikael here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
I'm filled with stuff.
Pick your brain. If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever.
Whatever. Good, so if I check my tasks about the response, I need to find someone with technical expertise to contact the Coalition. Yeah, that'll go well. Okay, alright. So, Yes, we need to go back to the Kanema. I very nearly got completely distracted from what I currently wanted to do. Oh yeah, the Wompty Dumpty Dom Center. It's Wednesday evening and something heinously exciting is underway. People have gathered beneath the billowing roof of an oddly shaped trophy building, sipping wine and exchanging opinions. 29-year-old Wunder twins, Guy and Keith Juice are the stars of the show with their bomber jackets and white sneakers. Head curators of this art exhibition. It's the Wompty Dumpty Domniest event of the year and all the cool kids have RSPV'd. Where are you, if not there? It doesn't really. We're not really an art kind of guy. I'm not really an artsy-fartsy kind of guy either. More important things to think about, like contact Mike, for instance. Remind me, friend, how much are your speaker sneakers? I need to be reminded.
The speakers below
50.
are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph over them. They're the star of...
God damn, I just want to see what stuff is available here. I remember that being garbage.
You find your hands...
Economical, but all.
Yeah, there's nothing there. What about down here? This is where I got my shit glasses.
Shine on these sunglasses lasts a lot.
I need conceptualization. Do you have anything to sell? I'll leave you to it. Okay, cool. Just wanted to check. I need 50 real. Those lovely shoes. I also need to put a point into drama for my performance tonight.
The purity of snow always reminds me of the purity of...
I'd love to spin him a fake story to make him think I'm cool, but... not a necessity. Did you find out anything more about the boots?
Yes. I got the
fucking finally.
few biographical details. Are you ready?
The lieutenant leans in to listen, notebook in hand.
I was born ready.
That suit of armor was issued to an Oranese citizen named Ellis Kortenaer. That's E-L-L-I-S K-O-R-T-E-N-A-I-R. Exact date of birth unknown. He was signed into the Lelystad County Neonatal Care Unit on 28th of February 09.
Ellis, you say? So neonatal care unit?
He was found as a newborn in a leaf compactor near an abandoned farm. He spent 4 months in the neonatal unit, survived apparently, and was assigned to a foster family at 2.
He's had a full, like, fucking protagonist life story.
This is what the ICP knows about him. He was raised by foster parents, entered the East Brand Military Academy in Vredefort at 17, then served in the Oranese forces till he was honorably discharged in 41, just a year before the Seminese conflict.
Interesting.
Then the armor followed him to Seminine, or at least I assume it did. And that's it. There are no records of his employment in Crenel, or any of its other incarnations, or him even entering Revachol.
But he was found at a leaf compactor.
It's a garden tool used to press leaves into these cubes. It's a detail the hospital had, the only detail in these files. So I thought it would be good for you to know.
It's certainly interesting.
It is. Thank you, Alice.
Yes, thank you, Alice. Any information on his parents?
None, officer. Sorry.
So we have to connect him to Crenel as the armor.
Even that is a small miracle. These organizations usually double-check their inventory. Thank you, Alice. Great work.
Great work, Alice. Well done.
No problem, Lieutenant.
He sounds pleased. Oh, we have his name and service record now.
A name. This is very good. Ellis Kortenaer.
He says to himself.
Sometimes police work is about human dignity, about giving back names to anonymous victims.
Should we tell Classier what his name was? I doubt she'd want to know, but, you know, fuck it.
I'm glad the inquiry was helpful to your investigation, officer. Did you have any other questions?
And he's reported dead body.
One moment.
You can hear us shuffling through some papers.
Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
An unidentified middle-aged man, height 170 to 175 centimeters, dark hair, medium build, looks like he slipped, fell through a hole in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench.
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him, and traces of vomit on his shirt.
Pretty standard.
Any signs of violence?
No, it seems like it was an accident.
No field autopsy necessary.
She repeats.
You can hear her quickly typing in the background.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes?
He was wearing boots, trousers, and an old leather jacket with a bright blue lining. I found a library card from his pockets.
Any information on the library card?
It's from Central Jamrock Public Library. It belongs to someone named Billy Mijan.
Good. You have a lead.
We do.
Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else?
We're taking the case.
I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. We'll send someone to take the body to the morgue.
Gotcha.
That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Connect me to the library.
Hold on, officer.
Thank you. I like to think that it actually doesn't make that noise and she's just stood there, or sat there, sorry, blowing into the microphone to make it sound like stuff is happening. See, she did it again. She's just blowing raspberries.
I've got Central Jamrock Public Library on the line, and I've already introduced you to their librarian. Connecting the call in 2, 1.
Wait, I'm not ready.
Yes, this is Central Jamrock Public Library here. How can I help you, officer?
Hello.
He sounds worried, yet ready to assist. This is how people get when the police call.
I'm sure. I'm looking for any information that you can provide on Billy Mijon, a reader.
Billy Mijon, you said. Give me a moment, I'll have to check our database.
He puts down the receiver. Now he's doing his best robot impression into the receiver. It's pretty good, actually. Alright, mate, no need to show off.
Yes, hello, are you still there? I found Billy Mijon's home address, is that alright? No phone number, unfortunately.
Over nothing.
They're too poor to have a phone line.
Yeah, that's fine.
Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20. It's in Martinez, I believe. Cape Side Apartments, it says. That's all.
Cool.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
Is that the exact place? You have any other information?
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days ago, but I wasn't at work that day.
You know someone who was?
Marie? Marie? Do you remember a reader named Billy Mijon? They returned a Tybalt book the other day.
You hear someone answer from afar.
Maurice, what? A woman yells. Then, yes, okay. If it was the police, she starts explaining something.
Ah.
Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband who returned the book. He also asked for this new sci-fi release, Lowe's Radio City 87, but we don't have it yet.
Right, so Billy's a lady, or at the very least this person's husband.
Good. You have a name now.
So Billy Mijon is a woman, not a man? How did you know the colleague was her husband? It might even not be a woman, but we don't know anything.
Marie knows Billy. She's been working here longer than me. Sometimes her husband returns some books for her.
Right.
And then goes for a little drink later. On the lookout.
A little drink. Do you know his name?
Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight.
Downer. What does he look like?
Marie!
Marie!
She said it was an older man, and that she's pretty sure he'd had a drink or two the last time she saw him.
That's about right. What was he wearing?
1 second.
He turns away from the phone again and relays the question.
Sorry, Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that.
I mean, you wouldn't really, would you? If nothing specific is happening. Cool, thanks. That's all from me.
Happy we could help. Goodbye, officer.
Anything else you need from me?
I'm done. Thank you.
7th, over and out.
In the cabin, you...
Okay, I have a suspicion. There's a lady on this pier who just reads books all fucking day. And I have a bit of a suspicion. It might be her husband. She's not here. Ah. Okay, well, apartment 20 then, isn't it? I suppose that's where we're going. We'll get to the bottom of this mystery of the guy who fell over in the book. That's what I'm calling the case, by the way. I've written that in my ledger of despair and failure. The guy who fell in the book. Catchy, isn't it? You know, I've got a real knack for these sorts of things. So now we need to find apartment 20. Can I get in that? Oh, I think I can, actually. Yes, good.
A weathered brown door.
Ah.
The number reads 20. Something smells good. Soup alongio.
Possibly.
The lieutenant motions to you to go ahead and knock.
So now we have to deliver bad news.
This is the door. You already know it's the right door. This is going to be so hard.
Oh, yeah.
Get yourself together. It's just police work.
Police work.
Don't knock. Just leave. You don't need this. You don't need to sad it up.
Hold on, Kim. We should discuss this before we move on. What should we expect?
You're right. Let's talk this through.
He looks at the apartment door and lowers his voice a bit.
You hear some light footsteps and what appears to be a daily weather forecast playing on the radio.
Uh-huh.
We have our first preliminary identification. In all likelihood, the deceased is the husband of Billy Méjean. We need to confirm this, as well as deliver the death notification to Billy herself. Now, delivering a death notification is never an easy task. There's a reason why it's often called the most stressful part of our job. This is why it's usually done in pairs. You got this. I'll be monitoring reactions, ready to act if necessary.
Have any advice on how to tell her he's...
Dad, just don't say that you know how they feel. You don't.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Good advice. Alright, I think I'm ready.
The lieutenant motions towards the door.
I'm gonna put away my fucking crowbar. I'm gonna get my ledger, because it adds empathy, and that'll probably help. I'll just try and prepare as best I can. Okay, time to cop it up.
A weathered brown something. The lieutenant, this is the door. Get yourself together.
Don't knock. Just leave. You don't need this. You don't need to sad it up.
Knock, knock.
Hello? Who is it?
Yeah.
And someone turns down the radio.
Is this Billy Méjean's home? This is the police. Please open the door.
The police? A moment, please. Give us a moment.
You hear shuffling inside.
Tidying up. Nervously.
Hiding all the drugs.
There's fear in her voice.
Oh boy.
Come in. The door is open.
Thank you. I think I know exactly who this is. Oh yes, it's you. Don't run, okay? Take it slow when exploring the apartment. Be respectful. Okay, nice and slow. An empty pack of red Astra cigarettes hidden under the bed. Same brand of cigarettes you found in the trash next to the deceased. Windows covered in old newspaper clippings. Hello. Packages of humanitarian aid macaronis. A chalk-drawn height chart for children's growth over the years. Textbook for high school, mathematics, trigonometry mostly. Clock is ticking away, with an odd cheerfulness. Sticking makes you anxious, rings hollow in the room. Posters of contemporary pop stars adorn the wall. Okay, let's talk to her. So I feel like if we're just hanging about, you know.
It's you from the book stand. Did you come to bring my cockatoo back?
No, you're all gonna get pissed off at me for this, and I apologize because I should have known better, but I basically cut the conversations I had with this woman because they seemed completely irrelevant to anything, and that was a mistake. For those of you who don't know, we basically wandered up to this woman and was like, do you know where your kids are? Do you know where your husband is? Crimes? Do you know where crimes could be happening? And she was like, could you fuck off? I'm reading a book. And that was like the summary of the conversation. And we kept being like, you don't know where your kids and husband are. And she's like, I think I do. Please go away. And we basically harassed her for a while. It was weird. And I was like, it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of weird. And I was like, it doesn't seem relevant to anything. I cut it out. That was stupid of me. I shouldn't have done it. I apologize. It was during my attempts to try and keep these videos a little more reasonably lengthed, which obviously failed if you've seen any of them. And now that mistake is coming full circle. But I think we talked to her about like spirit animals or something, and she said mine was a cockatoo or something.
I don't think I introduced myself properly. I'm Billy. Would you like something to drink? Tea? Lemonade? We're out of coffee.
It's fine, ma'am.
The lieutenant has taken off his foggy glasses and is busy cleaning them in his handkerchief for now. You're on your own here.
Time to be a cop.
He must feel vulnerable without his glasses. Is this why he's letting you take the lead?
Thanks, but I'm alright.
Is this about Victor, my husband?
Victor.
Is he in some kind of trouble again? I can come pick him up in the station if that's what.
She stops, her eyes trying to read answers from your face.
No, this is something much worse.
Yeah.
Is he in the hospital?
No.
How bad is it?
He's still on the boardwalk, actually.
How about some small talk before you break the news?
Empathy. I don't want to question my own thought process, but I would believe that if, you know, like, I'm trying to put myself in her shoes, right? If the cops came to my door to tell me bad news and it seemed like it was going to be bad news, I gotta be honest, maybe it's just me, I wouldn't want them to faff around with, like, small talk. I wouldn't want them to be like, so lovely weather we're having. I'd be like, get on with it. What's happened? You know, I don't want small talk. I want to know what's happened. So, no, we're going straight in.
You've done this before. Just keep your focus.
Ma'am, very sorry to say, but your husband, Victor Mejien, was found dead on the Martinez boardwalk.
What did you say?
Your husband is dead. I'm very sorry for your loss, ma'am.
Oh.
She touches her neck, eyes pale like pearls in salt water.
Oh. But he was just...
She looks at the kitchen table where 2 cigarette butts are still in the tray.
But he was just here. Alive.
Yeah.
We understand this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner are here for you if you have any questions. Take your time, ma'am.
Oh yeah, take a minute.
What happened to him?
She turns to you, her neck and cheeks are covered with red blotches, her double chin is shaking. It was an accident. He fell through a hole in the boardwalk and hit his head.
Was he drunk?
Alcohol may have played a role, yes.
I see. And you just found him there, lying in the cold.
Yeah.
How long had he been there?
While.
If you say 2 days maybe, it will be etched in her mind forever.
Couldn't have been long.
She blinks, eyes welling up with tears, as her hand starts searching for something from the pockets of her dress.
She's wearing trousers and a jacket, but okay.
The handkerchief.
Don't give her the lieutenant's handkerchief, it's too special. No words, just give her the lieutenant's handkerchief.
A small, terrified smile quivers on her face as she takes the handkerchief and wipes away the tears. She looks disoriented.
I would be.
Is there anyone we could call for you? A friend, a family member, someone who could be here for you?
No. I just need to tell my girls.
Oh, the air gets sucked out of her lungs suddenly.
God. Should I call them? Should I tell them to come home?
No. A day.
Yeah, that's right. It's an interesting scenario, actually, because, a little personal, I guess, but it's definitely not to this degree. Recently, while I was working in, London, obviously the puppies were born. And, don't know how much you guys know about, puppy birth, but it's in large numbers, you know, litters typically range between like 8 and 12, give or take. And, as, you know, because this is how it works in nature, they have a fairly, not high, but higher than you'd like mortality rate for them being born, because that's just how it happens. And people who are here, you know, people I know, who were actually taking care of that whilst I was away, because I had to work to earn money so that they could eat food, faced a similar situation, because some of those puppies passed away during birth, and then Summer herself actually got heat stroke because it's so fucking hot here at the moment, and her temperature got to near lethal levels of heat, like 107 degrees. Standard is 101. If it goes above 103, you're in danger. 107 is considered almost lethal. And like, I didn't find out until I got home, because they weren't going to call me in the middle of work when I was several hours away, miles and miles away, mid-job, to unload a bunch of like horrible information on me, because that's not the time for it. And it would have been distracting, and like, I'm not sure if I could have come home. I probably could have come home, like, if I'd... That's the problem, right? That's actually precisely why I couldn't have known, because if Sweetman had known, he would have insisted that I'd gone home, and that would have completely fucked with his business. Which, it was just been lose-lose all around. Like, that couldn't have been a thing that happened. I wouldn't have told him if I'd gotten that information. So, yeah. No, in situations like this, you wait until... If someone's out doing something, you wait till they get back. Because otherwise, you're just going to fuck up what they're doing. They're going to find out anyway, you're going to tell them, but there's no point telling them while they're away. Especially because I think that her kids are like at a party or something. They're doing something fun. Don't want to ruin that. Like, at least let them enjoy themselves until they get home and then have to face reality, as it were. No, take some time.
Good. That's probably the right thing. Thank you.
She nods, but with a wretched expression.
Just tell me, what do I need to do next? Where is he? Can I see him?
You do not want to see him on the boardwalk, trust me.
We've taken him to the city morgue. The local coroner will be contacting you shortly to arrange the funeral. Here's his number in case you want to contact him earlier.
He hands her a leaflet with the morgue's contact information.
A very good call.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that the RCM could do for you?
Anything?
No, I'll call you if something comes up. I'm still...
She rubs her face, runs her fingers over cheeks that have become numb.
Thank you. Thank you for telling me. I'll call if...
She runs out of breath.
These are her last reserves of strength. Her muscles will give in soon. Already, she starts to shake.
Again, I'm very sorry, ma'am.
We should step outside and talk.
Set the library card by her. Leave the room. God damn. Surprised we didn't take morale damage for that one. What do you think, Kim?
You did well.
The lieutenant says as soon as you've left the apartment, the balcony feels cool and quiet with a stunning view over the district. Feel like I could have done more.
You did enough.
He pauses, rubbing his hands together to generate some heat.
Can save the whole world, you know.
Nod. What now?
I'll call the station when we're finished with the day, and let them know the name of the deceased.
What about Billy and her kids?
They'll manage.
I hope.
They have to. It's not your place to live their lives.
Suppose. That's it?
That's it. We should get back to our case now that our duty here is done.
Well, this is closed then.
Let's go.
Well, we did a thing today. We did a thing. At least we closed one case. That's a start. God damn. That might be a thing. The payphone. Wasn't it like an interfacing check to make a call from memory? It might be worth doing. Went to the village on the coast officer, see you there. Joyce, says the note on the post. Yeah, she did go there. I don't know if I've leveled up interfacing, but it says on here, it is, yeah, it's in white, which means it can be reattempted. And the cargo container door, we should check that out too. Yeah, let's go up there. We'll check in with Classier real quick, see if we can tell her the name of Lely, and then see if she has anything else to tell us. Because we've got little to nothing at the moment. Just a bit of a downer. I'm gonna check. I've been checking with these two regularly, but I don't think they have anything.
Again?
Yeah, I can't believe this shit. Yeah, you're both fucking useless. No surprise to anyone how fucking useless you are. So many crimes happening in Revachol, and they're sat there doing fucking nothing. Hang on, stop. This room has sad all over it. Reminds you of your own. Yeah, thanks, video game. I don't think there's anything to check here, but let's have a look.
This medicine cabinet is stocked.
No, I don't want to steal her Preptide, thank you. You feel someone watching you behind the glass door. A woman. Well, yeah. It's Classier, isn't it? Hey, what's up?
Hello, officer. What brings you up here again?
May as well ask, why do I feel like you've won here?
I really don't know, sir. I certainly don't feel like I've won. I feel like shit, sir. All the time.
Uh-huh.
She smiles. A bitter little smile. She means it.
Does she, though? But this turned out well for you. You've slipped past all suspicions.
Clearly, I haven't. We're having this conversation, aren't we? How well could it have gone, I mean?
She looks around.
The wet wind, heavy with brine and industrial pollution from the stacks nearby, ruffles her hair.
What a lovely place this is.
I'm stuck in Martinez just like all of us. I've been up here for... I don't know how long now. I like to call this my rooftop containment facility.
What are you contained for, then?
For my sins, of course. The long-standing sins of a bad, frivolous person. For destroying my first love. for working for bad people. The list goes on and on.
It's all turned out well enough for you because you somehow managed to not become a suspect.
Did I? Why do I still feel suspicion hanging over me then? What I managed was to get him killed. I'm the love that does people in, remember?
Seems so.
The lieutenant looks away, over the railing. He feels uncomfortable with this conversation. He doesn't know what to add.
Something seems off with this theory I've developed about Ruby.
I don't know what to say.
It all seems fortuitous for you.
None of this is fortuitous for me.
Could Ruby have left the dry flowers? They don't fit with anything.
The what? Oh, those ones. I don't know, sir. I said I have no idea what to make of them. Honestly, I think they're just trash.
Makes sense.
I mean, there's no reason for me to think they're somehow connected to her.
I don't know, guys. I've come back, I've hit her with round 2, or round 3, or round 5, whatever the fuck this is, and I'm just not getting any real guilty vibes from her. That's it. That's it then, I guess.
She nods, slowly, carefully even. There is suddenly a strange glint in her eyes. Not malicious, but dangerous.
I got nothing. I got nothing. Got absolutely nothing. If she is playing me, she's done it successfully. But I just don't have enough to actually place her under arrest, bearing in mind it could literally spell the end of her life. I can't base such a decision, such a judgment on a feeling, you know? I personally think Volition is just trying to really lean into it. Like, Drama is doing it very overtly now that we've snapped it out of its original, like, I don't know what the term would be, like, infatuation with her. I don't know why I can't sprint anymore. Yeah, no, like, Drama was way more overt about it, being like, just put her in jail, but I feel like Volition is also overcompensating a little. I don't know, I'm probably wrong. That's the feeling I get right now. I got giant ass print on the pillow and a pattern of coffee rings on the armrest. Someone is habitually chilling next to the radio. But first of all, let's see if this is even a thing I can do.
The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you as you...
Interesting, interesting. Yes, and we can make this better with our big gauntlets, and I think that's literally all we've got in terms of interfacing. Okay, let's give it a try.
The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you as you pick up the handset.
Dial a random number.
Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952. And a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. 993.
What could it mean?
Calling.
Calling. Am I going to find my wife?
Calling.
Calling.
Still calling. Then.
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. How may I help you?
Goddamn. Guess I rented a lot of videos.
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
I'm sure. What is this place?
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy.
No, I mean, what is this place to me?
Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here.
Logical. Do you know me?
No.
Ah, so why did I call you?
Maybe you called to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period?
My name is Harrier Dubois. Do you have anything on my name?
Let me fire up the machine. Dubois. Dubois.
Dubois!
Here we are. You haven't rented anything in 5 years, but you still have a copy of Blue Ocean Hell from November '46. Whoa, not a fun film, that one.
What kind of film is it?
It's not an easy watch. After the death of his daughter and subsequent divorce, Ziemsk immigrant Etched Wojcik tries to come to terms with the onset of dementia.
Yep, that's pretty rough.
No wonder no one's been missing it. Still, it would be great if you could return it to us. We're on the corner of Voyager and Maine.
Yeah, I'll get around to that.
The call is terminated by the other party. You're left with the discomforting sound of the disconnect tone.
Okay, well, I guess that was just some experience then and a little bit of context. We were watching depressing films alongside everything else we were doing. Good to know. Let's go check the container. Fuck it, more days have passed. Maybe it'll help. I suppose we could speak to Big Boy. I don't know what that would really achieve, though.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Give it a try?
And as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with rhetoric. Maybe you're losing your mind.
I think we're already there. Okay.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
A member of the board?
That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today?
I mean, I just know the catchphrase. I did it, Everett. I turned it off.
What?
The shady brew. You told me to make it even shadier. I didn't. It had alcohol in it. Now there's no alcohol.
Did I? Well done then, Harry. I like not knowing about it, and I'm sure you made the right call. I spend the whole day delegating tasks, and it's a great relief to see people taking initiative.
I mean, it's what I do.
I don't even want to know what all of that means. Brew, shady, alcohol, turned off. I'm gonna let the world surprise me.
Good for you, man.
See you soon, Debardeur. Just kidding, but not too much.
Uh-huh. Well, I got 5 experience out of it. I'm sure that'll help. See, I could cut that out, but no, I chose to cut out the conversation with the woman who we then had to go tell whose husband had died. Good job, Foreman. Yeah, very smart. Yeah, very smart. Well done, Foreman. You're so good at this LP stuff. You're so good at picking out the right parts to cut out, you fucking moron. Alright, well, let's have a look at this church then. Dusty pews in the shadows. Many seem to be missing. An altar shrouded in dark, or something like that. It's too dark to tell. I'm sure. Let's have a look inside.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Carelessly? Inspect the carpentry.
The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. 2 large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold.
Run your hand over a beam.
The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch.
I mean, sea air, snow, rain, it all makes sense.
Feels exceptional. 300 tons of pine would fit together seamlessly. It's old too, cut and carved many centuries ago.
Proper relic. Have a look at the padlock.
This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed into the wooden door. The lock is adorned with a yellow sticker. It'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting, somehow.
Look at the sticker.
You see a yellow circle with 2 X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts is clear enough. A smiling dead guy. The curve makes it smile, and the X's make it dead.
You seen this before?
He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe them clean before inspecting the sticker. Then he looks up, pauses, and replies.
No.
What does it look like to you?
Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency.
What is junior delinquency?
For Revachol ZOC, the moral intern defined junior delinquents as minors between the ages of 10 and 16 who have committed an act in violation of the law.
Sounds pretty standard.
These acts aren't called crimes as they would be for adults. Crimes committed by minors are called delinquent acts. This was part of your officer's exams.
Yes, but I've had terminal memory loss, so what is suggestive of junior delinquency here?
I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth.
Great. Try to peel it off without ripping it.
There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb.
Put the sticker in your ledger after the last entry where it belongs.
Looks like today was a gold star day.
Today was a gold star day. Open the padlock with the key.
The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
Pull on the doors.
You hear the echo of the doomed commercial area. Its black holes and dusty machines. Then the feeling passes. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum. In the heart of the city.
Ah, boy, here we go. Aha! Well, this is certainly a place. Strange stillness fills you as you look ahead. You should walk here, not run. I always find it very eerie when the game's like, hey, maybe... I didn't say run. Did I say run? No. No, stop running. Why are you auto-running? This grotesque wooden figure looks half-finished. Feels like it's trying to become one with the church. Stop running, Harry! I'm not double-clicking and I'm not holding down shift. Here's what I'll do. I think it's a little bug, so I'm gonna quick save and then load. Because goddamn, I am not telling him to run. Stop running! What is wrong with you? Now I have to hold down shift to walk. Because that's logical. More of the forked lightning pattern you saw outside. The blackboard is filled with complex equations. They look recent. Something to do with radio frequencies? This could be helpful for us, actually. Prayer book has been left open.
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore.
Huh.
Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
I think I still hear something.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it. But for the faintest of hums.
Right.
You can hardly hear your own breathing.
Stomp your feet and clap your hands.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow.
Yell as loud as you can.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers.
What's happening?
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Barely. Not really, but it's extraordinary. I've never experienced anything like this.
I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
Wouldn't it be terrible for a club, then?
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is.
What if it's something paranatural?
Please, detective, not this again.
He's trying to act dismissive, but at this particular moment, he's more open than usual to the idea of paranatural phenomena.
Yeah, he is. We'll turn him round. Look into the bell tower.
The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
And try and see beyond the shadows. Damn it. %83 chance, my ass.
Just darkness without end. It makes your head spin.
What's it like?
Filled with vague shapes of woodwork. The sense of a great height.
You try and make something out?
There's nothing. You're dizzy and disoriented as you see dark and more dark rising.
Officer, what are you looking at?
He follows your gaze, attempting to see whatever it is you are seeing. Blink. Oh, hello.
You see something hanging from the rafters.
Tiago.
Looking straight at you with dark eyes.
Hello, sir.
Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
I'd like to, but first, I want to look at things. A bowl is filled with water, a live wire runs directly into it. These wires work as contact microphones? Why did I only get one option there? and not get to pick the other. Is that a fucking cave? 2 decks of reel-to-reel tape spinning on empty. Portable Harman Waushi tape recorder. Someone's siphoning electrical current from outside into this antenna.
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
Yeah.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on.
He seems cautious around the machine.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
Yeah, but it looks just like the one in the doomed commercial area.
It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station. Must be the same model.
He inspects the machine's framework, careful not to touch anything.
The one you saw earlier was the Ream Civic. This is the Ream Prefect, a model number RC7024, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a Ream-compatible interim printer.
Let's not touch it until we've spoken to Spider-Man, hey?
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad. A dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day.
Okay.
Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel.
Nah.
Cold wind seeps in from the crack in the glass. Snowdrifts cover the floorboards at your feet. Above, you feel her multicolored eyes on you, inspecting you.
I am quite a specimen.
As if under a microscope.
I am not your bug.
As that bitter thought passes through your head, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder, with 3 fingers.
I'm not doing that either.
Good call. She left us all in the shits. Don't give her a single thing. Just stand there in the apricot-colored light of the window, secretly grinding your teeth. The woman smiles her distant smile, unmoved, struck in half by the crack in the glass.
Let's try for some of these checks, shall we? These glasses will help. But I think that's all we've got in terms of, Is that a head thing? Yeah, well, I may as well wear those, the perception helps. We don't have anything else for encyclopedia, do we? We had our hat, but it's gone now. Let's try these checks one at a time, see what we can figure out.
The mother of humanism stands above you, a precious and complex wax painting on a single pane of glass. A crack runs across the length of her body, her face oval and sad.
How did I know that this is the mother of humanism?
Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. The innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived.
Well then.
No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men.
So what is an innocence?
The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world spirit.
Tyrant?
In a way, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built from the ground up to accommodate an authentic rule should it coincide with our time. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one is in office.
I'm gonna guess that one is not in office right now?
No, we are alone.
Great. So when did she rule?
300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi. She is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world.
What else do I know about her?
Many things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur, Queen of Suresnes, modern-day Sir La Clé. Also, that she was gorgeous beyond beauty.
Okay.
Draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed.
Alright, where's that coming from?
The past. It's a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should keep away.
Fuck that, what else? Was she smart?
Terribly. Women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state. A scalpel, a piercing gaze.
So she was powerful? For sure.
She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous.
How come?
It was on her advice that Irene La Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on.
Huh.
She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history. The DeLorean era.
Wow.
Wow indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest.
That explains that.
Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress.
So was there also something terrifying about her?
Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it. But terrifying, it's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her.
No. I want to know this.
You already do. Although she's often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day, constantly surrounded by her terriers. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then there were the resettlement programs.
Oh boy, resettlement programs.
The Mesk state tried to detach itself from innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military force she called the Army of Humanity.
The Army of Humanity.
Suggesting those who fight against it are not part of humanity.
Yes.
She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacentic, mare interregnum.
Okay.
Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her.
Quite a figure.
Lieutenant Yefrater, you've stood there for over 5 minutes.
I'm having a brain think, Kim.
What are you thinking of, if I may ask?
She's somehow connected to the case. No, she isn't. She's not human.
Okay.
He takes his glasses off to clean them, then after a while he says,
This church, the coast in general, we shouldn't linger here. This isn't a good place to get lost in. We should conclude our business and move on.
This is Dolores Day.
Yes. I wasn't sure before, but this must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez. It's called the Small Pinewood Church in some records.
Small? You know of the place?
It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Ravachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before, in the wild reeds.
I'm gonna hesitate to say this, but what else do you know?
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Lesetsa, they call them. The 7 Sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials.
Okay.
We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find the instigator here. Something else, perhaps?
He looks at the machinery lying around.
A pang of guilt. The lieutenant is leaving something out.
You know why it was abandoned?
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces.
Who conducted the raid?
Well, your station was involved, I hear. Although I can't be sure.
Yeah, that sounds like us.
How come the lieutenant isn't sure? Is this confidential information?
You're not sure?
3 precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them.
I guess I could have been here.
I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it, why it was conducted or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters.
If I was here, I should find out what I was doing.
Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten.
Fuck that.
It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now.
Okay, let's try and reconstruct the scene.
Her innocence Dolores Day liked little figurines, right? Liked holding little men between her fingers, remember?
Liked holding little men between her fingers. What?
You have the headless Falcon Rider figurine. You should give it to her. Win her back.
What? Win who back? I can't win her back. She's a long-dead historical figure.
Don't be so pessimistic. Love doesn't die that easily.
She doesn't smell like apricots.
This isn't funny. You have a bad feeling about this one.
Fuck it.
So very, very, very nifty. Nifty and mysterious. This is surely what the figurines are for.
Why is reaction speed... Ooh. This seems unhealthy. I'm gonna go through with it because I'm curious, but yeah. Seems very unhealthy. That'll help with visual calculus. Take the hat off, man. It looks too stupid. Let's see what we can do.
A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you. A ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one. And a text. A light motif below them both.
Who shattered it? What shattered it?
Unknown.
Unknown.
Something during the raid the lieutenant mentioned. Or just hooligans looking for something to break.
Probably a bullet. Who is the older woman?
The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden rights apfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen her innocence day advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, 30 years, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail.
So what does the motto say?
Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, La vie de nouveau.
Okay.
And then along the left side, après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau.
Lieutenants, this used to say after life, death, after...
Death. Life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again.
Uh-huh.
This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however.
Why?
It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing.
Always a macho thing, so what is it now?
Justice, union, prudence, and force.
I like this, puts the fear of God back in the... Oh. Cool.
Ice cool.
Ice cool.
The mother of humanism towers above you. A wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression.
Looks like I can't give her the figurine.
Why?
Because she's a stained glass window.
That does seem to be a problem. Maybe you meant something else?
Well, like what? Is the task still on?
I don't know. What are we thinking of? Part of your mind has gone on to other things already.
Okay.
Only a strange little sadness remains.
Okay.
The mother of humanism.
Yes, we're done with that. Right. Cool. Well. Okay. Right. Well. Cool. Okay. Right. Well. Cool. Okay. Right. Well. Cool. Okay. Right. Well. Cool. Okay. What is it? Clothes over there? Shoes? Well, shoes? Like shoes? Wanna give me those shoes? And money? Mesk Banger's Red Brogues. Ooh, nice. Further confirming the theory that this guy was, or is, a Mesk Banger. Spider has spun its web around this wood-carved pillar. Joyful times. Well, it's time for a conversation, I think. A cracked pane of glass, colourful. Came from the stained glass window, still has letters on it too. I'll talk to you in a minute, buddy. Just give me a minute. I'm looking round. Frost has drawn good flowers on the glass, obscuring the view. Figure drawn in frost on the window, depicting a deer. What's this? Oh, a scarf? Yeah. Hey, where's that equipped? Oh, neck. Yeah, I'll take the scarf. Yeah, that's way better. I way prefer that. Vastly superior. I think perception will be useful here, even though it does look unbelievably stupid. I suspect the game is trying to hint something at me, so I'm going to go with that. Alright, sir. It's time for a conversation.
Is that a man? Looks more like part of the carpentry of the building came alive and is now studying you intently.
Okay.
The Crab Man.
The Crab Man. Hey, who's there?
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
Don't know what I was expecting, but that wasn't it. The right place for what?
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
Brilliant.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
We should at least figure out what the fuck.
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality.
I'm sure.
Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already.
I'm a policeman, and I need to talk to you about police things. I don't know anything about alcohol use.
Oh yeah, sure. You don't know anything about alcohol use. You got it all under control, Way. I could smell the control all the way over here.
Okay, fine, I'm struggling, but you don't need to lecture me. I know what I need to do.
Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc Albino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
Okay.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Look, I haven't drank since this case started. Leave me alone.
If the lieutenant agrees, then maybe, just maybe, you should pay attention.
Okay.
Look at these crazies. What is this? A fucking intervention?
If so, it seems to be several years too late.
Fuck you, Crabman! You don't tell us what to do! Tell him!
I'm not even wearing the necktie anymore. For some reason, I feel like you have a point there.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes.
Okay, yes, but while I do want to, you know, redeem myself from the alcohol, don't really want to become the born-again Christian type. Because that always goes so fucking well, doesn't it?
This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
He sways gently on the beams, waiting for you to take it all in.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, for real.
Is he just trying to throw you off your game?
Might be.
Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. Just look how gracefully he sways. 'Tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
You must be the crab man.
Never known myself to be a crab. But if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it.
To be fair, it's really more like a spider.
I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique.
Or stop acting like a creepy spider, dude. So what were you before you became a crab man?
I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone.
I lost my memory too, but I like it. It's like I get to create a whole new me, start again from scratch.
That's not really the point, I said. You gotta give yourself over to service. Service of the mother, that is.
Hard pass.
Do you remember your name, sir?
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also, so to speak, your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore.
My name's Harry. Put your hand out for a shake as if he's obviously gonna take it.
That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters.
Okay. What are you doing here?
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Pure deductiveness based on very little information. He was part of a gang holed up in the church. Cops were called in for a shootout. Cops won. This guy was shot in the head and left for dead. He survived. The gunshot jarred his memory, and now here he is as a hyper-religious crab man.
I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
This mother of silence, you mean her?
No. There's a new god in town, and she can be painted or sculpted. Because she has no limb or even a face. She is the end.
Ah, the void. I'm familiar.
She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
That's a good marketing campaign, isn't it?
His adoration is beyond sexual. This cavity is something that no human form has.
Okay. What will happen once you drink from this perforation?
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
Right.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
Are you sure you didn't just switch one drug for another?
It's not like that at all, man. It's just faith and joyful service.
Uh-huh. So what do you do in service other than climb around on the walls?
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own self.
Faith is a kind of drug.
I heard that before, Way. And I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night?
I'd probably regret the wasted time.
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your system.
I think love may have been my drug of choice, and I think I'm still hungover from it.
She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean of the mother's love. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out.
You have... no. Let's agree to disagree.
I know it will take time. Don't sweat it. I know it will take time. Don't sweat it.
Did you just repeat the line twice? Okay. I still don't understand what you're doing in the church.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
You should sing for me, the superstar cop. Point thumbs.
I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing is silent as the mother.
Brilliant.
He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
Haha! Yes, working away the barriers. So how'd you even find this place?
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was.
Okay.
Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, Way. It didn't belong to me.
Does it mean he witnessed the police raid?
Would be useful information. Are these yours?
I think they were. A long time ago. I had to shed them like skins to get closer to the center of the silence. You could have them. I don't need them anymore.
Thanks, the scarf is very cool.
They'd only stop him from climbing.
Right.
They look pretty dapper, actually.
They do. Other questions?
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
So you've been here a while. Did you see a police raid that took place here?
Something like that.
He responds, his voice suddenly flat.
Did you witness it?
Huh?
Not really. Or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
So there's some ravers that want to turn this place into a nightclub?
The ones in the tent outside? Right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me.
Do they have a reason to be scared?
Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway.
That's nice. So what do you think about the nightclub?
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go.
Oh, so Crabman can live in peace.
Might even be nice to have some company.
Yeah.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Cool, so that's sorted. What about the other person?
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
Oh.
Viejita is Grandma?
Wait, so there is another person in the church and it's a Vieta?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
Okay.
Wait, what if it's Ruby?
What if it is Ruby?
Did it ever seem to you like she was hiding here from something?
The lieutenant seems to be thinking the same. He takes out his little notebook.
You mean like a fugitive?
He glances at the abandoned radio computer on the other side of the nave, pulsing with light. Then he shakes his head.
No, man. Quite the opposite. I don't think she cared much about authority or anything else for that matter. Maybe only about her machines.
I see. And where is she now?
I told you, Holmes. I don't know.
How can you not know that when you both live here?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
You've got nothing else to tell me? How she looks, what she does, who is she?
I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back, or
He shrugs.
Or search through her radio computer.
Yeah, I probably will do that. Cool, thanks. Well, this was informative. I guess it is time to look at the radio computer. What thoughts did I get? Wasteland of reality. It's been brought to your attention that you're an alcoholic and it's a sickness and it's killing you. You're crawling on your knees through life, your booze-filled belly dragging on the ground, your brain now fuzzy, now in overdrive, your hair sticking together with today's cold sweat and yesterday's vomit. Perhaps they're right. Anything is better than this, even bone-dry reality itself. Maybe you can quit. Yeah, seems necessary. Yeah, we should jump on that. 20 hours with less physical instrument during that time. Christ. Gotta be done, though. In the meantime, we'll put this on to at least mitigate some of the damage our physical instrument is taking. I look a lot like Revolver Ocelot right now. It just occurred to me I really look like Revolver Ocelot, just a little bit, but with a fucking ledger instead of, you know, a revolver. That's funny. I'm gonna stick with it.
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the lieutenant doesn't say anything. But you can sense that he doesn't like you meddling with the machine.
Okay, let's have a look.
You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free to proceed.
They're not diamond-shaped, they're circular. Look inside.
Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February to March.
Right. Okay.
This is the machine's filament memory. Press play to access its contents.
Let's do it.
The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old.
Good afternoon, Fortress Accident on Saint-Brune. This is the East Insulindian Repeat Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
I remember this lady.
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area.
Yvonne, it's me again. How are you?
Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
I looked inside the core, but the tape on the film just said, log February, March.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Oh.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer.
Yeah.
Maybe he knows something.
Can you give me a hint?
No.
Oh. Is it my birthday?
Still no.
There's the police. Please open it.
I am contractually obliged to...
I'm afraid we are not doing that.
Now, can you please...
I don't know the password.
Fortress Accident, is there anything else I can do for you today?
Like the one doomed commercial area?
I have 2 machines registered to this company name in Martinez. One on Saint-Brune, the other on Rue de Saint-Ghislaine.
Okay.
Saint-Brune, that's the church. And Rue de Saint-Ghislaine? That's the doomed commercial area.
So 2.
Anything else I can help you with?
Thanks, but I'm done.
Goodbye, Fortress Accident.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated.
Can I print?
Nothing happens.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. Kindly ceiling climbing mesk banger. Oh yeah, you are here. Okay, cool. I need your help again. Immediately, like straight away.
Hey, wait. There's coffee in the back. Oh, wait. I meant the mother's love.
That's not the same thing.
Coffee in the back. Something familiar about that. Coffee and stale cookies.
What was that about coffee?
Look, man. I'm at liberty to talk about the sacred blaze of the mother's glorious heart, but not about the coffee.
Okay. Have you heard of you have to say the password to a radio computer?
Too many times, Essay. You need it for something.
Yes. I need to investigate murders.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife death.
Cool.
What you think of that? Makes me almost pity La Niñita Pequeña when I hear it.
It does. It is a bit dour. Thank you, sir.
Done here, essay.
The figure crawls off into the darkness above.
That was an interesting conversation.
It was.
However, I'm still not sure whether we'll find our suspect here.
Doubtful. But he's happy to have a nightclub set up in here, so I say we may as well go for it, as long as we can get those kids to not make drugs here, I guess.
The machine's keyboard, the speak.
Good afternoon. Good. Please repeat the password.
Afterlife, death.
Good. I have unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please press print to access the filament. Fortress accident.
Goodbye.
The machine's key. The printer prints out a...
I didn't mean to skip through that text, by the way. I accidentally clicked. Which is bad, actually. I really should have fucking looked.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing fluorescent play and print buttons.
Let's read the printout.
The first entry, made on the 4th of February, 51, by an unknown author, is short and concise.
Good.
Arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll ask around. Need to figure out how to get the electricity in. The lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder. Just as you finish reading, he looks up, muttering under his breath.
Okay.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while.
You think it might be connected to the case?
Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
Most likely, but let's keep going.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that place, that the church was spooky and ridden with narcotics. It's a little spooky, all right. Still haven't figured out the electricity.
Downer.
What was that about narcotics? This could prove to be interesting.
Wait, druggies? Look around.
I doubt that we can find any. It's just idle fishermen's gossip to scare away the kids.
Makes sense.
Nothing spooky about this place either. It's just abandoned and cold, and in an awful part of town.
Sounds about right. Third entry.
7th of February, 51. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna. I'm thinking ESCA series, something advanced.
Why would you want an antenna?
Why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
He steps on a wire running on the ground, inspecting it with his boot. Fair point, but if this lady could help us contact that coalition warship, that would help. 4th entry.
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna, had some problems setting it up. Called Simor for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulislav started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers. But at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, they're programmers. The writers, though, they're fucked. I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup, when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to set it right.
Data loss?
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about them to understand what the author is saying.
Right.
Something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. Let's just keep reading.
Artists, programmers, Lexi. Do you know them? Who are these people?
I think these people worked in the radio computer games business. The one we saw in the Doom commercial area. They must be our former co-workers.
5th entry.
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbor. Definitely not happy to see the Martinez people again. Everything's now set up in the church. Going to start working tomorrow, 8 a.m.
The strike. We are nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio anomaly that sent this person here in the first place.
Going.
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now. trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in for disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the church. I've named it the Swallow. It swallows sound. Need to get some mics.
Is she talking about?
Possibly.
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the Swallow is real, and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence, with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the higher I go, the less I record. This might be a coincidence, or it could be connected to the data loss that led me here.
The pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
What could it be?
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples.
Keep going.
March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out I've also been capturing the future of dance music. One neo-disco song over and over again.
Yeah, they don't tend to change the track.
Fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say hello, she got scared and left. Good, I don't want anyone distracting me from my work.
Decent.
That disco man must be a cell.
Presumably it's a cell.
The girl on the ice? Sounds like her, yes.
Next.
March 51. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building. Thinks I'm part of some kind of curse. How Martinez of her.
How Martinez of her. But that was me. I was the one who broke into that computer, and that the storekeeper must be Plaisance.
I knew it wasn't a good idea to meddle with that machine.
Nah, it's fine.
No. It was a great idea. You're learning things. This is how you learn things about machines.
Exactly, you learn by do. Read
March
more.
51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles. Crackers. Ping energy drinks. Water. Toothpaste. Gum. Also some canned air. Your reading is interrupted by the sound of the church door opening.
I dare say.
A strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
Ah, she looks like a fucking skeleton ghost lady. She's gonna be pleased to see us, I'm sure. Hi, I'm a cop. Kim's also a cop. Even though we're here. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
She glares at you as she holds down the off button for several seconds. The machine reboots.
Yes, you are breaking in, but not into her radio computer. You're a master circuit bender.
Yeah, I am.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
We're looking for a suspect in a murder investigation. We thought they might be hiding here.
No one's hiding here.
Barely looks up from the keyboard. You hear the machine whir back to life.
It's just me and my computer, and it has been this way for weeks. Now please give me some room. I need 2 seconds to see that you haven't destroyed anything.
We don't destroy things. We're the police. Hang on.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.
Okay, but how long does that take? Hi, ma'am.
What is it?
I didn't break anything, did I?
No, you just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper.
Does not look like a big loss to her. Are you the lead programmer of We're All Untethered by any chance?
Yes. Or, no. Not anymore. That project is dead.
Ah.
She doesn't seem surprised to be recognized. Rather sad. Something passes over her face before she straightens her back.
So, like, but who are you and what are you doing here?
I am Soona Luukkanen-Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience, and I'm proficient in both Vox and Orbis languages.
Okay.
If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can help you.
She turns back to the terminal.
That still doesn't answer what she's doing in an abandoned church.
Indeed. Have you seen the crap man?
Nope.
You know he's around?
Yes.
He's seen you.
And?
Okay, the Crabman has seen you.
I don't care. I don't care about crabmen.
Have you seen anyone suspicious? Woman named Ruby?
What? No. No one's suspicious around here.
Okay.
She has not seen her, sire. 'Tis true.
She's very helpful. So why are there so many machines in this place?
I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything.
Why'd you need an antenna?
I use the AR1 as my RAIN prefix processing unit.
And that's your computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the antenna is its processing unit?
Yes. You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you?
Not really.
All right. Well, all radio computers perform operations up on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest in a good antenna.
Wait, what's on air?
On the front. The unified front of radio waves.
Yeah.
And controlled by lintel in the east in Cylindric region.
Okay.
It's all around us. That's what on air means.
Okay, and the AR1, is it a good antenna?
I guess it is. So far I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage, and the operation has been surprisingly stable.
That's one way to describe the place.
But it's not the cheapest one on the market. So I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 1000 is a foolproof line for civilians.
Okay.
Anyway, you should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices. There are many milieus dedicated to that sort of thing.
I'll keep it in mind.
She liked telling me this. It calmed her nerves.
Oh, good. So what are you doing with it?
I'm working.
Uh-huh.
The machine seems almost alien with its pulsing core. The light casting her face in a strange shadow.
Working on what?
Could you just shh for a moment? Or get to the point. I really need to focus on something.
But I have questions. I'm the police.
It's not just rudeness. It really is hard to concentrate on whatever she needs to do. And you're not helping.
I'm not trying to help. I'm the police. What are those balls of water over there?
They are connected to my RAIN prefect. Whatever you do, just please don't move them, okay? Thanks.
But I'm thirsty.
Short and terse. There you have it. Whatever she's using them for, they're hers.
Alright, next question.
Great.
So what are you doing in an abandoned church?
You really like those questions, don't you?
I'm a police. It's my job to ask questions.
I'm conducting scientific research here. You can't throw me out.
What research?
I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the world.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Huh.
She's looking for a disruption in the radio waves. That's what her personal log said.
Okay.
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
Is it connected to the data loss in your journal?
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that.
What does a hole in the world mean?
Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible to say what it is because it's impossible to measure nothing.
Well, it is with that attitude.
What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure something that does not exist?
Oh god, she's actually asking for my opinion.
That's a little above your pay grade at the moment.
It always will be. But we live in a world now that has holes in it.
I don't know. Are we? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But how do I figure it out?
I don't even understand how we're talking about something that doesn't exist.
You measure it by its surroundings. By that which does exist. Which is what I've been trying to do. I've tried using hydro transducers to record the silence. To find out where it begins.
Okay.
But honestly, it's not progressing very well.
I bet. You have any idea where it is?
Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
She looks up, eyes trying to pierce the pitch black heights above, but without much success.
Only a faint crisscross of rafters can be made out from the dark. Most of the tower disappearing into the shade.
Uh-huh.
Strange things may flourish in the dark.
Indeed, but why there?
There's this place at the back of the church. A place where all audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow. And the higher you go, the less you record.
Right.
The Pillar of Silence? Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk?
Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place.
That's where the Crabman lives.
I know.
You don't think the Crabman might be responsible?
No, I don't.
I think he's here because of it, not because he caused
She
it.
sounds mildly annoyed by this line of questioning. Her hands typing hundreds of commands into the machine.
Said it's not going well. Why?
Because it's just trial and error, trying to locate the swallow, the exact point in space.
Right.
And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work.
No, I'm the police. I have questions. That's all I wanted to know about the scary 2mm hole in the world for now.
Great. Thanks.
Cool. But there's more than that, I'm afraid. How do you feel about anodic dance music?
What? I hate it.
Same here, it just doesn't connect. I like disco does anyway.
Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music.
Right, but how do you feel about a club for anodic dance music?
This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build here.
Yeah, I know, I've talked to them about it. What they want to build.
Guess, why don't you?
I've heard they're also planning on building a drug lab.
Bingo! That's exactly what they're up to.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
The lieutenant whispers, admiring the embellished pillars and the spectacular architecture in the church.
Now this house of worship is also going to be a drug lab. Always something fascinating happening in tents.
I've got nothing to say on this.
So that's settled. Great. No nightclubs in the church then.
Yeah, I suppose not. Can't really support a drug lab, can I? It's not a paying job, but could you help me contact Coalition Warship Archer?
Do I look like someone who has time for side projects at this moment?
Yes. She doesn't even look up from her computer.
If you want her help, maybe you should help her first.
Yeah, but how? I'll let you work in peace. I don't know how to help her. I don't even know how to help myself. You know? I'm pretty useless. In general. I just don't know what I'm doing. In general. I'm a cop. I know that much. That's like the extent of what I do. But I'm not even very good at doing that. Your associates tried to use me to set up a drug lab. I'm guessing you knew of this plan?
I did, and I'm sorry. For what it's worth. Which isn't much.
True.
This is why I didn't go into the tent. Typical delinquency.
Well, look at that. You've now proven a stereotype right. I hope you're proud of yourself.
You don't get to choose your posse, they choose you.
That's
Mine are
not true.
idiots, but they're mine. I tried to talk Andre out of it. I even tried not to lie to you.
Indeed, she merely tried to omit the truth instead.
Instead, you opted to admit the truth. It's the same thing to me.
I know, but I knew you'd see through their plan too. I'm not an idiot. I should have been able to control them, and I will in the future. I promise.
How are you going to control them when they don't even let you sit in the tent because they want to keep their equipment safe?
May I ask? What did you tell them?
I'm going to decide after I've looked into the church situation.
Oh, right. That's wise. Take your time. Oh.
She's less prone to...
Okay. She was dressed like someone who's been raised by that. And then he stopped.
Like a crab, you say?
You saw him?
Yeah, I saw the crab man.
Does it mean that you went in there? Did you see the other spooker, the one in Grandma's clothes?
I did see them both, yes.
Good, so you believe me. You should go tell this to Andre. He'll know what to do next.
Fuck that! I'm shutting this down. I'm really trying to reach out and be like, look, if you'll work with me, I'll let you do what you want. And they're all just like, yeah, so you'll let us do the drugs, right? And I'm like, no, I'm a cop.
So, how are things going?
I checked it out.
And? What happened?
I talked to the crab guy.
Oh, man! Who is he? What did you think?
Seemed okay, to be honest. Very spiritual.
Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
He's just praying and preaching and stuff.
No matter. Is he gonna be a problem?
That's the least of your worries right now, buddy.
Yeah. Noid is right.
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
Well, he told me you wouldn't mind.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
You're just gonna have to live with the crab man.
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that I think of it.
You're not even gonna get to do it.
Everyone is welcome to dance till the morning light! Yeah!
Yeah, no, I'm afraid.
I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her?
Yeah, I was using the mainframe when she walked in.
A programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Did you ask her about the nightclub?
She did not like it.
What a pity. That's my favourite thing in the world. And she doesn't like it at all.
A shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam and into a laser-lit future of dance and unity?
No.
Unity! Dance!
She made it very clear that she won't leave until her own project is finished.
You can't just evict her?
No.
Look at you, honour man.
Yeah.
No, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. I'm sure there's a workaround. We can make a deal not to bother her. If that's okay with her, we only want to get in the church and spread the joy and ecstasy of music.
Well, it's not going to work because her work is sound-based.
The lines in the dark exist. Coexist.
Uh-huh.
At least Crabman seems like an advanced being. He's hard. He'll understand.
Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like anodic dance music?
She really does not.
Egghead cannot believe what she just said. It makes him pump the jam a little slower for a moment, but then he returns to the full swing of it.
Difficult life, huh?
No worries. We'll figure it out. If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay with you, what do you think?
Perhaps if you dropped the drug lab, it might make it easier to convince her.
Oh man, but the drug lab was like an integral part of getting the club going.
Tough.
For me, it was my favourite part. Chemistry's great. Besides, imagine all the drugs we could do if we had our own drug lab.
Guys, I'm really trying to meet you halfway here.
I mean, anodic music is great and all, but drugs, they make you feel really good. When did you last feel really, really good?
I think I'm gonna have to shut the whole fucking thing down.
Excitement bubbles up in you. Maybe you should blast some of these drugs right here in this tent.
I don't have time to feel good. I'm a very busy officer of the law.
Pull out that stick, lawman. You'd absolutely love drugs. They'll make you feel transcendent.
I refuse to throw her out.
Excellent. Good luck, my friend.
Alright, well, I'll continue with this conundrum next time, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to just let them set up a fucking drug place. I'm really trying to be like, look guys, if you fucking just promise you won't set up a drug lab, it'll all be fine, but they're really not budging on this, and it's quite annoying. I guess I'll try and convince her. If I could just get them to coincide, that'd be fine. I'm not going to get rid of all the drugs in Martinez, so maybe if it's just happening in a place where everyone likes each other, it's fine. I don't think she'll be up for the idea though, but I'll figure it out, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Next time, I don't know, it might get to evening, we might get to sing our song. That'd be cool. I'd like to do that. Maybe we can see if we can take Lillian out on a date. That'd be cool. But that's next time. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to Majoko Myman, Teacup of Doom, Adash Sanjeev, Alkir, Honeydew Corporation, Sweet Baby Red, MB Alias, Lord Scullington, Jessica Z, Plutonium Pie, Dreamer Ghost, Leper Lullaby, K-Bub, Magical, The Frostbite, Monsoon, World, Jumping with Joy, War Master Oku, SCP-106A, Namad, and Kitty T800 for supporting me on Patreon. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you all so much for watching. I mean, you know, I really want to get through Disco Elysium, and I don't mean rush it and get to the end. I mean, I want to experience it. I want to keep experiencing Disco Elysium. There's nothing quite like this game. Even a lot of the old, like, CRPGs and stuff that are very text-heavy and stuff and skill-based, use similar mechanics, just aren't quite like this. This is entirely unique in its own way. It has so much information that is actually completely irrelevant to what you're doing, but does such a great job of establishing the world that I'd be shocked if there was only ever one game set in this universe, and yet I also wouldn't be surprised because I don't think it's very marketable either. It's weird. But the game is phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to playing more, and I hope you're looking forward to seeing more, and when there is more, I hope I see you there. Doodles. Goodbye.